Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Let me check. No audio? Okay. Thank you. Okay, what about now? Can you hear me? Okay, fantastic. Well, that continues to be some really weird Discord bug. And let me just verify that we do have it on Restream as well. Hang on. All right, good enough. Okay. Okay, so at least I have that happening on both platforms here. And that's quite fine. So, welcome to the PYRESWAP. And I changed the background because obviously, as you guys know, we're not trying to show just that particular backdrop for the upcoming production, right? Does that make sense? So I'm noticing, though, as I did this, immediately the backlighting doesn't make sense. It doesn't work as well. If you guys notice the orange and blue highlights, it doesn't like look the same way when you have like a sunny waterfront village in your backdrop. By the way, can you see the whole village? I wanted to make the background less boring, but all right, maybe this is still not the right. This is not the exact right one. I think maybe ones that are still kind of at night seem to make the most sense. Okay. Anyways, there is if I had focus, that can happen. Let me see. The only way, let's see. I changed chairs, right? Like, so I used to be on this stool, which actually is what I had for the PYRESWAP show, and I switched to this armchair, which is kind of like the more storyteller one. And as I did that, I had to lower the tripod and the camera to get it to kind of like even out. And every time you do that, it does kind of like adjust your focus. So there is probably some refocusing. Let me. That is noted. Let me write that down. Okay, so I think we'll just have to suffer through this lack of focus today, or lack of perfect focus, and things will be okay. And is my audio like, yeah, and by the way, this is still kind of just calibration. Like, I just wanted to, I know that people have been asking me about an announcement, and I know that things that are on the sensory that look like they're new kind of are pretty critical to announcements. So I figured I would just upgrade the background, and I think I'll just make the okay, yeah. I think something maybe even if this exact same background was more like at sunset or at nighttime, I think that would be a better fucking option. It just the backlighting doesn't work this way. I don't know if you guys can tell the way this is designed, but I have a bit of blue lighting coming from here, and I have a bit of orange lighting coming from here. Is that kind of obvious? So believe it or not, that right there is done psychologically because we all kind of evolved at villages around a campfire. So people would naturally have blue lighting coming from like the back of them to kind of resemble moonlight, and they would have firelight in the front of them because you would be gathered around a campfire. Does that make sense to y'all? So this is kind of already this like psychological hint for storytelling, but it doesn't work when I have this sunny waterfront village behind me. But not a big deal. Yeah, not a critical issue, and we'll get the focusing working later, and we'll change the background again too. Okay. So the good news is that everything's still in progress. We're getting closer to having this local machine physically here. I will probably release. I'll try to make an announcement this week concerning giving you guys an actual preview of some of the spec script. I think that's probably the best thing I can do because we don't really have new imagery, not like official imagery I can release to you. This background isn't official imagery, by the way. This is just like something that was available for use. Does that make sense? I'm just using it as a test. And obviously, it's not even... I could animate it, but I don't know if that would increase or decrease confusion, if that makes sense. So the local machine is still in progress. So we will have the ability to run phantom nodes, literally have our own local machine generating our AI perpetually. We'll be able to use it for parsing blockchain data. So even things like building stronger dashboards and solving our RPC issues. Does that make sense? Those will all be a little bit faster. By the way, since I actually don't know, are the bots finally clicking away, Alessio? Did that get satisfied? Did that get solved? Yeah, exactly. Now, does that actually get us closer to being finished? No, but I think it does make the project look like it's still quite alive, right? As opposed to looking like it's dead, which I just looked at this chart earlier, and I can show you guys this. I'll show you guys this because it's fucking disgusting in a way. So, as you guys can see from the thing I just posted in the general chat there, there is just more and more of like this notion that crypto products fucking fail. Does that make sense? And to be honest, they're kind of built to fail. Like a lot of them are built to fail. You guys know that. So I do understand that like the criticality of like staying alive and keeping the ball rolling is it gets exponentially more important by the year. You can see that chart is actually logarithmic. So 2024, apparently they had 1.1 million, or something, sorry, 1.4 million, but then in 2025, it was 11.6 million. Do you guys see all that right there? I'm assuming you guys do. Yes? No, is my audio working? I also have the mic now kind of like riding here in the crease of the chair. Is my audio levels okay? Like, am I too quiet? Am I quieter than you prefer? Or does this work? Audio's good? Okay. All right, fantastic. Okay, cool. Okay. Well, anyways, I appreciate that a lot. The local machine is in progress. We're still getting this TVL, and I want you guys to know that these two things, even though they're like big deals, the reason these things are extra strenuous as far as the delay is because these are the two things that are outside of my ability to steer as far as making them happen sooner. The things that are my ability to make them happen sooner is literally just working on the spec script and the shot listing. Does that make sense? Which is all stuff that if you review our previous announcements, we talked about the actual workload when it comes to finishing this, and like the stuff up front, the top of the chart, that's what I can continue doing. But I don't know if that can, showing you guys that material in the raw, I don't know if that like feels like a bullish update. Does that make sense? I think that me continuing to do these streams does, right? We're gonna make it though, like to be clear. Like I'm only going to get out of this. Does that make sense? I'm only going to finish this. So every single aspect of the delay, every single aspect of a setback or hindrance or wrong expectation, like they just become pivot points where you come up with a new solution and then you solve it. We haven't changed anything about our strategy towards this, like since Learn Pyre was kind of announced officially in like January of last year, of 2025. We had to do like a gigantic consolidation. Like some of that consolidation involved me moving. I want you guys to know I moved 6 months ago or so, right? And it took maybe about 90 more days just to like rebuild my life here to the point where I could work on this project again. I just started canceling subscriptions going back to 2024. And what I mean by that is there were things that I subscribed to for the purpose of marketing that I was fucking dead wrong about. So an example would be we were subscribed to the Wall Street Journal because I was just going to kind of cover headlines as part of the Pyre stream. But like, that's not making the number go up. Do you guys know what I mean? Like, so that subscription started off, it started off, Alessio, at $7 a month for the first 12 months. $7 a month. I couldn't feel it at all. But then it jumps up to $60 a month. Now, we spent $60 a month on Amazon Web Service, like our AWS expenditure is $60 a month. So if I'm spending $60 a month, it would make more sense, right, Alessio, for me to just buy the token at $60 a month, right, rather than throw money away at something that doesn't make the number move. You guys get what I mean? And like, so the point of it is, like, focus is critically important. And like, you don't know where to focus and when to focus and how to focus until you kind of like learn what you're doing. So during 2024, I was spending money to hire a guy to make short form content for us on TikTok. Do you guys remember that? Like they were just like economic fucking infographic TikTok things. But like that didn't work. That didn't do anything. Like that was just all an experiment. Arguably, I'm glad we stopped that when we did. Doing things like this stream, Restream, by the way, Restream is also canceled because we were spending $53 a month on it. But to be honest, we're not really posting new Twitter content besides this. We went months without using it. Does that make sense? And if you cancel Wall Street Journal and you cancel Restream, that's already $100 a month that could at least go to deepening TVL, right? At least we could deepen TVL at $100 a month now. Yeah. Oh, Alessio, clearly not. Clearly not, by the way. Yeah, no. I want you to know that in the last week, I've canceled 20 subscriptions. 20. Because it became quite clear that this move was meant to, like, drastically save a lot of money, but we were still spending over $1,000 a month on subscriptions. Yeah, I'm not joking. Like, it would make more sense to cancel most of those and then deepen TBL by $1,000 a month. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of insane. But I guess you could say, like, solving the problems at the exact moment they become apparent. But I want you to know, I think it was very, very critical for me to solve all of these, like, loose subscriptions before I got handed $100 grand to turn into things like phantom nodes and TVL. Does that make sense? Alessio, I immediately in the short term, no, but eventually much more than that. So don't worry. Yeah. Yeah, that has more to do, Alessio, with me not going into debt as rapidly. How about that? Yeah, just being honest. Yeah. But it's okay. Like, you have to first learn where to focus your attention. Then you have to learn where to focus, like, your effort. And then you have to focus, learn where to focus your money. And when I didn't understand marketing, I was legitimately being as experimental as possible. So we were, like, throwing money at, like, dumbass shit. Does that make sense? And it basically just caught up to me. Yeah, like, hey, you're not using this shit. It's not actually solving your marketing problem. And now you've been paying for it for months without even thinking about it. And all these things cause gigantic financial problems. So, like, we are consolidating so we can focus every single aspect, like every single thing we have, towards, like, the actual solution, which is, like, again, finishing Learn Pyre. Does that make sense to y'all? You guys get what I'm saying? I'm even subscribed to Netlify, which is something that I inherited from Matrix Money. Does that make sense? And like, I don't even know if this subscription is like the right one, because like, just because it was the way Matrix Money was doing it, you know what I mean? Like, to be honest, I think that the guy who I spoke to, I think he did actually work in that area. Like, he was like an IT engineer, so he knew a lot about hosting. But yeah, I don't know. So anyways, by the way, Twitter also, all of our blue check marks, Twitter ended up increasing the price of a blue check mark by like double sometime last year. So this also went from spending like $40 a month to spending like $120 a month. And like, us having blue check marks isn't doing shit for anybody. Do you guys know what I mean? We'll definitely get our blue check marks back later, but like right now I'm kind of just like slashing and burning everything so that it's all focused on like the one thing that matters. Yeah, exactly, Alessio. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for putting it that way. Yeah. Alessio, you know, the other people in the chat, they can't tell when you're being ironically bearish. They think you're just being authentically bearish. Yeah, I know. Well, I'm glad you enjoy it. You know that just understand there that you know, we all contribute. We all contribute to the perspective and we all contribute to the perception and the perspective of this, right? You being an early adopter, being an OG investor, you're also like part of the perception, you know. So anyways, if you have the tenacity now, who cares, right? Like, we're all gonna make it because we'll just fucking we'll just keep stepping forward. Anyways, okay. So I guess sometime in the next 7 days I'll make another announcement. I will probably put a screenshot or two of the spec script in there when I finally get, on Friday of this week, I am physically located, yeah. I am physically located, yeah, in like the danger zone of this snowstorm coming this weekend. So I just want you guys to know there's a chance that I might lose power and then we can't do the stream next week. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not going to die. I'll be fine. But if I lose power, yeah. I'll be doing the stream, yeah, off my, yeah. Yeah, that's literally just, that's the whole problem. It's not the worst problem, but yeah, I'm just being fully transparent. Not a big deal. Okay. Oh yeah, again, since we have 6 people here, did you guys all see the Eric Adams thing? Not this week, but the week before. Eric Adams. Well, Alessio, that's not actually true. Yeah, it might seem that way, but yeah, that's not true. Yeah, I mean, like, I think that sometimes narrative convinces people that the odds are against them when it doesn't actually need to be. Like, so, first of all, the Sandwich Circus nor myself, we were not involved in the Eric Adams thing. The NYC token. Did you guys see that last week? Yeah, obviously very, very close to scammer behavior. We were not involved. I was recruited in October, potentially, for that project. Or September. Does that make sense to y'all? I was, like, tapped for it. But, like, I kept making Learn Pyre the priority, so we ended up not doing it. And I'm glad I made that choice, because we could be in jail right now had we actually signed up for that. Does that make sense to y'all? So I want you to know, Alessio, some things are working phenomenally in our favor. And like I was just saying, first you learn where to prioritize your attention. So my attention is always Learn Pyre. If Eric Adams wants to recruit me, that's great, but he's got to be my number 2 project. Does that make sense? So because he was my number 2 project, he didn't, sorry, not he. We didn't end up getting picked, I think. Maybe other people outbid us or something like that. But anyways, the people that recruited me, they were also not part of the project. They also didn't get picked. So it was like, Yeah, not a big deal. But we're very glad we missed that because it looks like it's been a clusterfuck so far. Would you guys agree that the Eric Adams NYC token project looks like it's been a clusterfuck? Do you guys know about this? My audio still? Yeah, okay. Well, you know, this is great because now I know that I can just talk the microphone here and it does the job. Hey, Alessio, me neither. Hey, well, I mean, you know what? Me too. Anyways, so seeing as the odds are against us, the fact that we continue to progress and keep going, this means the odds are continuing. Like, we're not getting knocked off the horse. Does that make sense? If you look at that chart I posted, Alessio, 11 million projects got knocked off the horse, right? Granted, they were probably meme coins, but like, you get what I'm saying. 11 million is pretty fucking crazy because that means that like, holy shit. Yeah, if you do like 11 million times 3 divided by 365. Yeah, so that means 30,000 projects were failing per day. Does that make sense? Right? So like again, we haven't fucking quit. Does that make sense? We haven't collapsed. So like again, red candles can't kill this project, which is what we've been saying since like 2023, right? Alessio, it does feel that way. I get it. But to be honest, Alessio, we're just now really getting into the well, it's really like apples to oranges. But like we finally like rebuilt the laboratory environment that it probably took me like 4 years to build where I previously lived. Does that make sense? So like I was able to rebuild the incubator much faster after this move because last time it took me like way longer to build a set and an office and like everything kind of needed to like run the project. I'm also going to have a local machine here, probably in that corner, eventually. And this is again like a huge upgrade, and it is in fact going much faster. But like just to be clear on the level of scale of ambition, Learn Pyre is meant to get us in the top 100 market caps. Like that's the level of ambition. Not immediately after launch, but like as it continues to get used, we'll get into the top 100 market caps. Now, if it can't do that, like if version 1 can't do that, then we will just iterate it till it's version 2 and version 3. But it'll be way quicker to edit it to make it version 2 and version 3 than to go from version 0 to version 1. Does that make sense? Yeah. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like everything that we designed so far in Pyre, like Pyre DeFi as a whole, we're definitely like on a design level and vision level and application level blowing the rest of Web3 out of the fucking water. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So obviously like nobody can pave this road for us but ourselves. Yeah, Alessio, hopefully we are. Yeah, indeed. And hopefully we will. Yes, that is the hope. But yeah, like we will. Like the odds of us not doing it are much smaller than the odds of us doing it. Does that make sense? Because like every day we get closer, or should I say every week we get closer for sure. And I'm not like going to start doing something else. Does that make sense? I already wrote this story too. So like I don't know why I would have wasted all that effort like writing and doing all this world building and then, you know, doing all the design and development and just like effort and then like not actually see it to completion. You know what I mean? But again, like you have to learn what you're doing right when you're doing wrong. And that's just kind of like the process. Anyways, yeah, we were not involved in the Eric Adams thing, which is great. And Alessio, you said everything is, yeah. No, Alessio, no. No, I'm still doing writing, shot listing, and the local machine is contingent on us at least getting the imagery for all of the TIFF videos. So we're like writing the videos. Yeah, we're kind of like setting that up. Recording the videos is actually not that much time at all, to be clear. Recording videos, I think all of recording will take less than a week. Does that make sense? Then like editing might take like a month. But there's going to be probably like, just to build a local machine might take multiple days. Then configuring it might take multiple days. And then once we have it, you know, it's hard to project. Again, it's hard to project. But like, yeah, we're going to make it. The good news is, Lesio, is that once we have the local machine, I'll be able to make better announcements. Does that make sense? Because the announcements will have visuals. Does that make sense to you guys? So we'll have like new artwork and like new visuals and like new content like all the time once the local machine is running. So like what I mean to say is, yeah, the bullishness in general will feel more palpable when that is done. So I will say that like that is closer than like recording. Like the first video is like 15 minutes, so it's like maybe 2 takes and then we're done. The videos 2, 3, and 4 are also under 20 minutes, so like that's gonna be a few hours. Video 5, I might travel to record, so that might take like 2 or 3 days. But then all of recording per se is still probably like less than a real week of work. Editing and producing, that takes a while. By the way, Alessio, I was gonna do all the voice acting myself. Like back when I first designed this project in January of 2025, AI was not anywhere near where it needed to be for AI voice actors. But guess what? Due to the delays, we're going to have AI voice actors for like every single role, except for me. I will be the narrator. Does that make sense? Like I will be the actual narrator. It'll be my voice. I won't do it as a, it will not be an AI version of me either. It will be for real me being the narrator. Yeah, and that's the point. Not only is it better to do the AI voice actor, it'll be faster and it'll actually be more immersive. So I don't know if you guys know this because I haven't shown you the script. Some of the first dialogue is Fergus's mom seeing him walk in the front yard and screaming. Does that make sense? So like the story opens up with Fergus's mom, who hasn't seen him in like almost a year, right? Screaming with excitement when she sees him. But I need you guys to understand something. If it was me pretending to be a woman screaming with excitement at seeing her son, it would not be immersive. Do you guys know what I mean when I say immersive? The word I'm saying is immersive. Yeah. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so Alessio, I need people to actually like this story and not think it's a joke, right? Which is why we're trying so hard to make it a hit, right? But like, if it's my voice and I'm like, Fergus! You guys get what I'm saying? Like, immediately, like, I could throw that in as a joke. I could throw that in as a joke. Like, wait a minute, that's not what she sounds like. And then let the AI voice actress do it, right? But like, if I was going to attempt to be Fergus's mom's voice the whole time, it would be like people wouldn't take it seriously enough to learn from it. Do you guys get what I'm saying here? Like, the story does have comedy in it because my background, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this. I did maybe 10 years ago, I was a webcomic guy. Did you guys know that 10 years ago? That I was I was half of a duo that ran a webcomic. Did you guys know this about me? So I am a comedy writer. Okay, well now you know this about me. So the point being is that I do have the there is comedy in the plot, but there is a there's a formula. I'll describe it like this. Yeah. Where basically, okay, we just dropped the thing, didn't we? Okay. By the way, I don't know if you guys can tell, but the camera we have here is better for recording than for streaming, because this camera will shut off automatically at 20 or 30 minutes to kind of like cool itself down. And like when you're recording, that's fine, because you're not going to ever shoot for more than 20 or 30 minutes. But when you're streaming with this camera, it just kicks off. Anyways, yeah, we're basically in Pixar movies. They make the plot and world immersive. But don't let comedy like detract from the message. So the point being is that like I did study this formula. This was back in Q1 of 2025, I think, to get it right. Does that make sense? Because people do like comedy. The thing has to be entertaining, but then you also need people to want to like learn the same things the protagonist is learning as the story progresses. So getting that balance right is important. And if I'm gonna narrate the fucking thing, I can't also be the characters, because then the characters don't seem real. Does that make sense? It's just like, oh, this is Five doing the weirdest one-man show ever, right? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Do you guys know that episode of Family Guy? The one. Never mind. Maybe only I think that's funny. But yeah, the voice actors are an upgrade, and that upgrade comes from the delay. Just so you guys know. Let me say this as well. Something else that, by the way, came from a discussion on Monday of this week. That was me talking with the local machine guy, by the way. So he tells me, since his background is obviously in cloud GPUs. Does that make sense? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like my friend, his background is in cloud GPUs. Well, anyways, are you aware, Alessio, that the original clientele for those types of companies were like gigantic porn websites, pornography? Just so you guys know. Does that make sense? Well, anyways, so this guy is kind of like tied in with the pornography industry. Does that make sense? Like as a history. Like he's not in it right now, but he does know them all because he used to basically look at gigantic porn sites as his customers. Like, hey, you need to buy cloud computing, don't you? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Because that's how the fucking their business works. Like they literally short-term rent processing power, like streaming power, from the cloud based on like streaming surges. Does that make sense to y'all? It's the same way Netflix works, just so you guys know, and etc. By the way, this is also why Amazon Prime Video became invented, because they already had all that cloud infrastructure. Does that make sense to y'all? Anyways, so later on, maybe for V2 or maybe for V3 or maybe other pieces of content we do, we may or may not get retired porn stars to be our current and previous porn stars to be our voice actors and or narrators. That's just something that my sponsor wants to do. Yeah, Leslie, you like that? You like that? Yeah. By the way, I'll tell you in DM who the more famous ones are if you want to know. Yeah, I'm not gonna name drop anybody now because I haven't talked to these people yet because I'm not done with Learn Pyre. Like, to be clear, we are not delaying Learn Pyre to land porn stars as voice actors. What a stream this has turned out to be. We're not doing that at all. I just want you guys to know, in the future, it can be more of a curiosity hook that we have so and so as a voice in this particular production, because we're independent, so we don't give a fuck if I'm not gonna name drop again, unless you want. If you want to hear a name or two, DM me. I'm not gonna say on the stream, but yeah, that's just something that is on the menu for the future. And that's, again, my sponsor really likes this project because we're actually like a high-end use of generative AI, because lots of uses of generative AI are what they call slop. Do you guys know what I mean? See, Alexi, sometimes you're just the most bullish guy in the chat. Sometimes on certain days you're just very, very bullish, aren't you? Yeah, I appreciate it. Anyways, yeah. Well, Alexi, I'm not gonna delay learn Pyre to like land a porn star as a voice actor. Does that make sense? Like, it's just. But I want you to know, it might be the perfect job for them if you think about what their regular line of work is. Just so you guys know. And by the way, for whatever reason, pornography and crypto have this weird overlap. Like, do you guys know what I mean? Like, some certain porn stars end up being like crypto shills. And well done, Lexi. Bravo. But then also, there is actual banking problems in the porn industry because certain countries frown on it as a business model. So like, there is an overlap there. As you guys know, I am affiliated with the whole John McAfee thing, and John McAfee definitely loved crypto and pornography. So like, there's just these themes running. But I want you guys to know, we don't want pornography to necessarily like detract from people taking us seriously. By the way, Celsius, you know, like major projects in crypto aligned with pornography, and it wasn't like a bad move for them. Does that make sense? So we would only do it for voice actors. We're not going to make them like, you know, you guys get what I'm saying. Anyways. This should be the end of the stream. Thanks, Alessio. I appreciate that a lot. Well done. Who doesn't love a good pun? Thank you so much. But yeah, anyways, if you guys want to know the actual the big names that are in our network now, you can DM me. I'm not going to name drop them on stream or in the chat because that's the most ridiculous alpha, right? Like, people are going to read that and just like lose their mind. So like, it doesn't make sense that. And by the way, I don't even mean landing these gals. The names are, never mind. Never the fuck mind, you guys. Okay, I gotta wrap it up here because I'm gonna say more than I should, and it's not really that great. I will try to make an announcement happening in the next week. This announcement will probably just show some of the spec script. I'll show you guys a few pages of the spec script as a teaser. As soon as I can get the fucking local machine going, we'll be able to make announcements all the time that show new content. No, Leslie, he does not. But I'll tell you this. There is a funny, okay. Okay. I learned this recently. In the 13th century, yeah. In the 13th century, there was an English writer called Chaucer. I think Geoffrey Chaucer. Maybe Jeff knows. Hang on. Right. Anyways, hilariously, in his main famous work, a miller and a reeve are like antagonists. Yes, literally that, Jeff. Literally that. Yeah. Yes, literally that. So anyways, these stories are definitely rated, PG-13. Yeah, they regularly involve things like rape, adultery, and other themes. Does that make sense? But they're written as comedy. Yeah, but they're written as this type of as this type of comedy too. So the point being is, our protagonist is a miller. Yeah, and he is his main villain. His main what is it? His main problem is actually bureaucracy caused by people called Reeves. So Reeve, this is an old English term for clerk, bureaucrat, administrator. Does that make sense? So our plot hilariously is an echo to Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, and it happened by accident. So I find that bullish, by the way. Like, maybe this is part of my more craziness, but like when I learned that I accidentally am kind of borrowing something that is wildly famous and I didn't realize I was doing it, especially considering that it's like fantasy fiction, which automatically pushes it towards medieval times. Chaucer is very, very fucking famous. I mean, even Jeff knew who I was talking about. So the fact that we kind of like got it right, and the fact that we are creating like an homage of Chaucer in our plot. Chaucer, by the way, because I was talking about porn. The whole point is, Chaucer's Canterbury Tales were like entertainment, not for children. So I want you guys to know, when you ask me that, Alessio, you're like, does Fergus have a background in porn? It's like, well, Fergus is actually a farmer's son who got trained to be a miller, and the reason he got trained to be a miller is hilariously aligned with the perception of millers, that they were kind of crooked, because Fergus's father wanted him to be a miller because he felt he could trust the miller more if the miller was his own son. Does that make sense? Anyways, so the point being is, Chaucer's Canterbury Tales very much like adult entertainment, because like the protagonist would be people like students that want to like rape some girl. Does that make sense? So then it's like, hey, how do we rape this miller's daughter? And like that would be the fucking plot. Does that make sense? And it's written in Old English, so it's not like they cared so much about these types of things. And it was very much like, it was fucking crazy. Anyways, the point being is, now that I do know this, I may or may not put little homages to Canterbury Tales in some of the future plots. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not changing the fucking plot of the story written so far, but in all stories that involve Fergus later on, because those have not been written yet, they do need to be written. But don't worry, your bag does not wait on the second book. You're waiting on the first fucking book, and they're not books anymore. They're screenplays. But yeah, we can continually reference tropes from Canterbury Tales because it's funny to people who know these things. Anyways, I should end the stream here because that's a hell of a fucking tangent. But yeah, Alessio, I hope that answers your question. And hey, Jeff, thanks for showing up to specifically. Jeff's not actually on stream, is he? Yeah, he's just in the chat. Hilarious. Yeah. Anyways, okay. Well, great work, everybody. I'm going to change the background images again. I'll make it something more like moonlight or sunset because I think the color scheme is just wrong. I hope you guys, we're going to make it. We're going to make it. We'll be fine. I want you to know, like, treat it like every delay we have is an opportunity to get more in position. Does that make sense? Like, we're only going to pay. We're only going to save the Phantom Opera, too. Yeah, like, we're going to make it so that Phantom Opera is popping again. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. We're going to hit all these targets. Like, you were saying that things are against us, but to be honest, it does seem that, like, Phantom Opera is not going to be, like, disassembled. Like, it seems that the Phantom Foundation is continuing to run nodes past their expiration. Because I think they can't, like, I don't think they can turn them off without losing money. Does that make sense? So we're going to spin up nodes, and, yeah, let's put it that way. In fact, I'm thinking that when we have the money to spin up nodes, we should actually just email Sonic Labs and be like, hey, do you want to OTC sell us your Phantom nodes? Do you know what I mean? Maybe we can work that out as well. Anyways, do you guys have any more questions? I appreciate you guys coming to the stream. Thank you, Odin. Yeah, we're going to make it. Like, you guys all recognize that this product is different. Yeah, it's going to remain being different. And I'm sorry that it's taken a fucking year and then a year to not finish. By the way, everybody told me, you're not going to do this in 3 months because that was like my first timeline. Yeah, everybody is right, and I'm so bad at timelines. But I want you guys to know it's definitely happening this year, and you're going to make more money with this project, I hope, than you've ever made in crypto. And if not, like, get into that position. Okay? Like, I don't know why you wouldn't be in that position by now. Like, the difficulty is analysis, but again, red candles can't kill this project. We're going to fix all the products and all the chains we're on now. Then we're going to expand to more chains. Yeah, we're going to do it. I designed this stuff. I have like 6 notebooks of designs. I probably won't show them on stream because then I'll, eventually somebody will be trying to kidnap me for those notebooks. But until then, just believe that I do. Okay? Thank you guys for coming to the stream. Have a great rest of your day. And I guess I will... oh yeah, I'm not even streaming on here, but yeah. I guess I will end the stream now. Thank you guys. Do you guys any questions? Any questions? Thank you, Alessio. Or sorry, thank you, Alexi. Thank you, Seabiscuit. But yeah. Okay, I guess Leslie's not even on here. I was gonna say besides, this has been the hardest thing I've ever done. The Saturday Circus turns 4 years old this month. So January 29th. January 29th is our fucking birthday. In fact, I'm gonna write that next week, you know. But like, yeah, this is my life. Like, I am in fact a lifelong institutional crypto founder, and I'm only gonna get to the top 100 market caps. I'm gonna have more than 10% of the top 100. Watch me, okay? Starting with this project, because we have so many fucking tokens. You guys did it. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.